Scrappy friends. I have a fun little process video for you. I was challenged by Inkie Quill, which is Adele, here on Facebook. On YouTube. Yeah, on Facebook. On YouTube. um, for the Scrappery's National or International Scrapbook Day challenge. And we needed to use mint, stars, paint, and a stencil. I think that was it, if I remember correctly. So what you are seeing me do is use paint, and this is acrylic paint, and this is nothing really fancy. I think the most fancy paint that I have in the mix is I have some Martha Stewart all-purpose acrylic paint. I will say her paint line is pretty nice. I think it doesn't warp the paper that much, and it has a really nice finish. But really, it's mostly just like cheapo craft store paint. I didn't mean to say crap. Boy, I am really bad at voiceovers. I don't know what it is. Must be that it's getting late. Anyway, so I have a little bit of leftover paint, and so I'm going to paint these yo-yo thickers that I absolutely love that are in my stash, and so it's a fun way to repurpose something that you love, but you know, I think the mint is going to work well, and so I'm just putting a really thin layer because I still want to be able to see the font. And it is in gray, so it isn't super like right up in your face. So later on I will go back and add a little bit of like glitter paint squeeze like stuff, almost like stickles, but it's not stickles, but something similar. And I just put it over top of the letters, and you can see it on the layout. I mean, it's not like super bold, but that's okay. Sometimes that subtleness is something fun. So you did miss me using the stencil. So hopefully I don't get points off for that. I'm going to just flat out say technology has not been my friend this week, and I have deleted videos by accident, or videos have went missing. I have been having space issues. iMovie has been giving me problems, though I will say the last video I put up went up pretty quick, so I'm thinking that I'm on a better trend now. So you did not get to see me use my stencil, but I just used regular texture paste, or a modeling paste, and then I took some embossing powder in gold, and I used a little bit of like a clear glitter, and I mixed those two together, and then I just heat embossed. I let it dry. So pretty much I let it dry like overnight. I mean, as long as it dries till it's dry, I think is the best way to do this technique. So you put, when the modeling paste is wet, after you use the stencil, you put the embossing powder on it. You let it sit, and you don't touch it. So you let it dry completely, and then you go back and you use your heat gun. And you really got to get over it because that embossing powder really has to get hot, and then it's just going to melt right over top of where that stencil is, and it's not going to bubble up where the texture paste is. If you do it when it's wet, it's going to poof up, and I don't think it looks as nice. I think it looks really nice and classy when you do it that way, and I really liked the gold. I will say that I wished I put a second coat on, just so that there was a couple of spots where it didn't get as nice, but it really turned out awesome with the gold. And I use a Lindy Stamp Gang gold. That's what I have in my stash. It's not the best gold embossing, but if you get it really hot, like really hot, it does have a nice finish. And something like these stars, it really looks good. If it's a really detailed stamp or image that you're embossing, I don't think it works as well. But that's just my preference, or that's just what I've noticed. So I'm taking all these papers that are just random, no, random colors. I think a lot of these are from the On Trend, from my Mind's Eye collection. I have a couple of other papers that are not. I have a cardstock in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it has gold hearts on it. I actually just took a piece of like teal cardstock and used gold paint on it and made hearts. I did that like a long time ago, and I found it and I thought, hey, I might be able to use this. So I do use it a little bit, but it ends up being on the other side. So I had seen that piece of paper that I had, and I'd used the outside, and so I had the inside of that chevron with the gold and mint and like a pink, a really light pink color. And so I had the middle, and I really wanted, I love both sides of that, but I really wanted to keep a lot of it intact so you could see it, and I didn't want to cover up those stars. Those stars are so beautiful. And so it ended up being that I would, tilted it sideways and did it that way. And so now I'm just layering these papers that match with that paper. So some of them are from the collection, that same collection. That happy paper is not. I just took some of my cracked pistachio distress re-inker and just used it with a little bit of water and filled in some hearts. So then you get another pop of mint. Oh my goodness. It's leaking. Sorry, guys. I'm playing around with stuff in my I picked up my re-inker and it started leaking all over. I guess I shouldn't have did that. But yeah, so I really like the way that the cracked pistachio looks when you add watercolor to it, and it's just a really, really nice color. And if you add quite a bit of water, it is very minty. It almost looks teal if you don't. I will say that, though. Yikes, that bottle is really leaking. Sorry, guys. So now I'm going to figure out how I want, and I will apologize for the weird slant. I didn't realize my camera was so weird. It's just a little bit of a different angle than I usually have it. I don't like it, but not much I can do about that. So I did pop dot this because I wanted some of it to kind of pop up. And that bottom half of the layers really gave me problems. I don't know. I guess I just wanted it perfect. And sometimes, I don't know if you guys are like this, but sometimes when I'm scrapping, like how I do my layers, it makes no difference to me. Like, the crazier the better, but for whatever reason, I just had to have it perfect. And so that top layer had to be on top of the photo, and it had to, I don't know. I fooled around with it for a little while, though I will say this layout really didn't, except for the embossing part, which takes a little while and just makes a mess, but it really didn't take me that long. This process was like about a little bit more than an hour, so which is like really good for me. An hour is good. I like it when it only takes me an hour to do a layout, and it turns out amazing. So on this other side, I'm just mirroring, the layers that I have on the other side. I really kind of wanted to create that balance that you've seen on the other side. Now, I'm not using the same papers in the same order, and I'm okay with that. And I think I tried to use pretty much the same papers. I don't think the only different paper would have been the one with the hearts, but I have that on the bottom. So I'm just trying to get these ones perfect as well. So, like I said, I don't know why I chose this layout to have it be perfect, but it just had to be. So, but I really liked the way it turned out. So now I'm thinking about, well, one, I wanted to try to use that washi tape. because I like that washi tape. I love it. It doesn't stick that well, but it's really pretty. That craft and gold. I mean, and since we had to use gold, I really wanted to try to make sure I used gold. So I'm looking through this pack of Ellie Studio shine ephemera pieces, like die cuts or whatever. And I really liked that banner that says, I don't know, it says something about happy on it. But in the end, it didn't end up staying on my layout. I actually really do like that, like looking at it on the screen now, I like that pop of pink. It really, really like makes the mint look amazing. But for whatever reason, when I was doing the layout, I couldn't get it to work. So I'm using these Teresa Collins stickers. I've had these forever, and I really love them. And I don't know why I don't use them. Maybe because they're in my stash a lot of times. And sometimes with stickers, if they're in my stash, in my drawer, I won't remember to use them. You know, unless I'm specifically saying, oh yeah, I want to use this collection or whatever. So I'm going to use some of this I Am collection and these chipboard pieces because a lot of the colors are similar to what I'm using, so they go well. And there's a lot of like hearts and stuff and gold pieces, and even though it was a little shinier than the gold that was on my stars, it's gonna work. So I'm just going to look through some of the ephemera pieces. And at first I really was thinking about using that die cut. I think it says Loving Life or something like that, which is fun because, I mean, this is a picture of my daughter playing in the ocean. She used this day in particular at the beach. She really wanted to pretend she was a surfer. So she spent like a good hour like standing, like running back and forth and standing like she was a surfer. And so this was one of the times, and she's just like standing all funky. And I, you know, to create different fun pictures, you know, I'm like a photographer, you know, getting down on my hands and knees and hoping I don't fall with my iPhone and my camera. Though I will say my other camera that I use is a waterproof camera, so if that fell in the water, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But still, even though it's waterproof, I don't know if I trust it. So these are pieces from Pink Fresh Studios that came in one of the embellishment packs that I get, and it was all gold, and it was just too much gold for me, and I love gold. I don't know if it was just that tone of gold. And so I used acrylic paint and like covered like half of it. So I used a few of those, and then now I'm just looking for a few word stickers, but I think the only one I end up using is Laugh. Put it over top of the happy because I just like the way that looks with the chipboard piece. I just think it looks really nice. And so now I'm going to set down my title, which is going to be Goofy Surfer, and I'm going to put some of it on the picture. I've been doing this a lot. I don't know what it is. I just like the way that stuff looks on my pictures. And because this is a 5x7 picture, I don't think the letter stickers that I use the Ellie Studios that are mint. So once again, I'm mirroring that mint. And each of these mints are a tad bit different from each other, which is really fun. You know, you have my mint that I made, which is a little bit more, I don't know, brighter, more blue. I'm not going to say it's blue, but anyway. But yeah, so here because I touched it a little bit, I'm just going back over it with those. And that was like more of like a gold, and so I thought that would kind of reflect off of the stars. And so now I've just got to pick up. And then I'm going to end up getting some really fun Freckled Fawn stars that have like glitter in them, and then I'm going to use, there we go. And those are just to add that pop of that pink that I was looking for. So even though I didn't use the banner, that did help. And then I used some coffee break like sparkling gems, which once again kind of make it look like the ocean, and it's just really fun. So I had a ton of fun doing this challenge. So thank you, Adele, for picking me. And I'm sorry it took so long, this just technology, and it's just been a crazy week. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great week, and a happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.